Hi everyone, Aidan here with etrailer.com. Today we're going to be taking a look at the Hollywood Racks RV Rider bike rack here on our 2022 Phoenix Cruiser Motorhome. Now right off the bat, I do want to say that this is not the best bike rack fit for this motorhome, and you'll notice that because we have our bike on the outermost cradle here. We can hold up to 2 bikes, but with the way it sits on our hitch here and the way the back of the motorhome is shaped, we did have conflict with the handlebars hitting the motorhome, as well as the way the clamp pushes the bike rack out a little bit for better bike spacing. It did make some contact there. It might be able to fit if you had a road bike with some really narrow handlebars, but I do want to advise you against that if you've got something else with wider handlebars. This bike rack is designed to be used particularly with e-bikes in the back of your motorhome with an 80-pound capacity per bike. So if you only have one e-bike and you still want to carry it around in a really secure way, you can put it on this outer cradle here and you'll be just fine. And I do still recommend it in that case because it does hold the bike so well. You'll notice that there isn't any sort of movement of the bike in the bike rack here. We've got this clamp up top that is holding down on the frame. It can pivot and move around 360 degrees, so it'll fit our alternative frames. Please avoid that carbon frame contact though, because it will damage the frame. And then we've got 2 large wheel hoops on the bottom with these 2 straps that ratchet down and hold it in tight. These are ready for fat bike tires right out of the box, and it's going to get a really strong hold on the bike here. These handles here, these little hand knobs, are lockable, and they are key to like with the hitch lock down at the bottom, so everything's going to be secure too. You do have the option to tilt the bike rack away with the bikes loaded. To do that, we can just come down to the bottom here. We've got a hand knob and a carriage bolt, so we can just undo the hand knob down here by this pivot point. I'll get that undone. It's going to be this large hand knob right here, really easy to get your hand on, and the carriage bolt just like that. And then with one hand kind of on the center mast here, there will be a pin and clip that we can take out that's acting as a stopper for the bike rack right now, keeping it from tilting. We can just take that out, tilt the bike rack down, it'll stop at this lower point, and we can get access to this back cargo area. It is a little awkward here because the handles are spaced out, but we can get access. You will notice when it does swing out though, if we did have a bike on this inner cradle, it would definitely hit. There's no doubt about that, even with narrow handlebars. So another instance where this isn't the best fit. So with that closed up, we can go ahead and actually get this back into place. You do kind of have to hold it and support it while you get that stopper pin back in. But once it's in, you can rest it there, re-secure it with the clip on the other side, and pop your carriage bolt and hand knob back in place. They can slot in on either side. So you can see on the side closest to you, I can attach that hand knob pretty easily. Now, the reason it has all these points of contact, all these pins, is because bike racks that are built and tested for motorhomes need to be built stronger because there are a lot more vibrations and shock back here than there would be on your typical car. So while all these points of contact might be kind of annoying, they do help keep it secure and safe back here. Now let's get the bike unloaded. We'll start with our wheel straps here, just pressing in on this button on the side and removing that ratcheting strap. Pretty simple. And then we can undo this hook and loop strap by the clamp here and loosen up the clamp by just turning our hand knob. So once that's opened up enough, we'll be able to swing that kind of up and away like that. Right there should be good. And then we can just lift the bike rack, or the bike, up and off the rack. I'll set this to the side for now. And we can replace these straps. I always like doing that just to make sure that there aren't any loose pieces on the bike rack. You can see these cradles can be moved back and forth to accommodate different wheelbases here. And I'm going to just go ahead and use this hook and loop strap to secure the clamp right here on the mast. Now with it like this, let's get some measurements. We can start off with our ground clearance actually. And at the back end here, we are working with 21 inches of ground clearance. more than enough, I think, for most applications. Shouldn't have to worry about any steep driveways or hills. And now the distance added from the outermost point here is going to be 27 inches, and that's the outer edge of the cradle right here. Not too bad, but when the bike rack isn't in use, we can fold it upright. To do that, we've got another hand knob with carriage bolt right here on the center mast. So I can just undo that, pop out the carriage bolt on the other side, and fold this down. You will notice that clamp might hit on the cradle, but we can just kind of maneuver it around and re-secure with the carriage bolt and hand knob. You do have to align that hole a little bit, just like that, and secure it with the hand knob. I will say I do like the hand knob better than the typical clip, just because it's easier to do by hand and it gives you a big hand hold. Now from here, we can come back to that same hand knob and carriage bolt as we did earlier. Undo that. We don't have to worry about the stopper pin this time. That one will just stay right in its place. And once we get this removed, we can fold the bike rack up. And you will notice there is a slight clearance issue here potentially, but if you do have it positioned in a certain way, maybe undoing this here so you can kind of tilt it up a little bit more, it can fit right there. Re-secure that carriage bolt and hand knob on the other side to tighten it down fully. And even though this hand knob here does kind of touch, it is plastic and rubber coated, so it shouldn't cause any damage to your vehicle. And our new measurement of how much distance we're adding to the back is 14 inches. So it is much more condensed. It won't be sticking out too much. And that closest point, like we said, is right here. Shouldn't damage anything, and otherwise it's very stable. Now down here at the hitch, we do have it working with a 2-inch by 2-inch receiver tube, and comes with a locking anti-rattle bolt, keeping things solid in the hitch. It does come with a secondary anti-rattle device we can wrap around the collar of our hitch too to keep it extra secure. So that is an option if you want it. And overall, I do like the RV Rider. I just don't think it's the best fit for this motorhome. If you only got one bike, then I think it's okay. But otherwise, I'd maybe look into some other options just to have some better clearance with your vehicle here. Thanks for watching.